Hello and welcome to this reduction Linocut print process of lots and lots of bats that I've drawn here. And the first part of the process is getting my line work from the tracing paper onto the block that I'm going to be working with. And before I start doing that, I'm just going to pass the soft cut material through the light, just bending it this way and that here, just to see if there are any irregularities that I can see on the surface. I had some issues previously with an uneven surface on my block, giving a slightly substandard print, should we say, or it was not as expected. So what I'm doing here is just taking a sanding block with some medium to fine sandpaper I think I've got here, and just going over the surface. You all know how to sand a thing, so I'm just going to speed things up here. I had to do quite a lot of this, I have to say, to just work it down to where I was happy with it. Just constantly checking it with my fingers and looking at it in the light in different angles, just until I'm happy that I've gotten rid of any uneven surface. And this will also help to key the surface as well, to help both the graphite from the line work to adhere, and also it should help when I come to printing as well. So what I'm doing now is I've just flipped the paper over, so now the side of the tracing paper that actually has the graphite drawing on it is making contact with the surface that I'm going to carve and then print with. So the image is going to be reversed or mirrored. And I'm really taking my time with lining this up because I've managed to get a piece of perfectly A4 sized soft cut material, and I want to print on A4 sized paper. So I really need to get the alignment of the artwork really down pat at this point, because I'm going to have to do an awful lot of funky stuff with registration later if I get it wrong, and I really don't want to do that. So now that I've got the artwork placed exactly where I want it to go, I'm just going to take the backside of a dessert spoon and just quite forcefully rub all along the line work. And I'm going to be quite methodical with this because it's a fairly large sized design that I'm working on, and it's quite intricate as well. There's an awful lot of details with lovely wrinkly bat wings, lots of lovely pleasing creased membranes to work on. So having done quite a lot of work, I have to say, on the design, doing my research, getting lots of bat reference, and really trying to convey all that battiness. I want that to transfer to the block. And I'm just moving my hand as I go to try and eliminate too many air bubbles. You'll see it does crease a little bit as I'm working along, but that's fine. I think one of the joys of relief printing is that the drawing that you start with is never going to be quite the same as the finished product. There will always be some surprises, some little bits of maybe slightly wonky registration, or maybe as you're carving, things might end up just going off in a direction you didn't really expect creatively. It's a bit hard to describe, but hopefully as we watch these videos we'll start to see all those happy accidents come through. And yeah, the beauty of this is that every piece, whilst it's consistent, it's part of a set. Every single print really is an individual thing, all of its own. That I think is really very special. So I'm just really concentrating on those most detailed areas, and again just trying to be methodical with how I work. Again, I'm just going to speed things up here because I think you get the idea by now. Just going over and over all those troublesome areas. This is actually quite hard work on the wrists, I have to say, and the knuckles. I'm putting quite a lot of pressure here. Don't know if it really comes through in the footage, but you'll just have to trust me on that. I always use a 2B pencil. To be or not to be, I'm sorry, I've probably done that before. I promise I won't do it again. But yeah, I find the 2B is just perfect for this work because it's soft enough to transfer very well to the block, but not so soft that it smudges all over the place when I'm done. 2B has always been my favourite pencil. Yes, I'm that person. So here we have a perfect mirror image now of the artwork that I want to end up with. And I also remembered to hit record on my camera 1 for this part of the video as well. I forgot to do that in the previous one. So now we can actually see what I'm doing full on. And what I need to do now is just ink these lines in, just with a plain old biro, nothing fancy, just something that isn't going to wash off later when I come to printing and then cleaning the block. The reason for this is because, as you can see, the line work, my good old 2B pencil has transferred very well, but it's not going to stay there very long. Certainly once I start carving, I move the block around quite a lot when I carve because it's just more comfortable for me to work that way. So I want to reduce any risk of losing the lovely line work that we've got here. So inking it in just sets it in stone. Eagle-eyed bat enthusiasts will already have identified these as Serotine bats. These are one of the UK's larger bat species. I don't know if they're the largest, but one of the larger ones. And I'm afraid my thought process for choosing this subject wasn't very complicated. I love animals, and I particularly love gothic spooky things, and I love all those animals that I think get a bad rap, maybe. Animals that have been persecuted historically for various reasons. I really like to fly the flag for animals like that, because we all need a cheerleader in our lives, don't we? And I hope I can do that for as many animal species as I can, including humans. Some humans need a cheerleader too, don't we? But these also happen to be my partner's favourite species of bats. Or at least he said they're his favourite, or one of his favourites. You're not supposed to have favourites, are you? But we all do, don't we? Parents say they don't, but we do. Or they do, even. Doesn't apply to me. My art is my babies. Anyway, just speeding things up a bit here because you don't need to see me draw all of this line work again in real time. But I think it's something to bear in mind when you get into relief printing, that you are going to have to draw the same subject several times, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times. In the first instance, getting it right, getting it to where you want it to be. But then you need to do the trace onto the tracing paper. You need to transfer that tracing paper onto the block, and then you need to ink it in, as I am here. And then when you come to do the carving, you're essentially drawing it again. I know we don't think of carving as drawing, but it essentially is. It's a form of sculpture. You're drawing in 3 dimensions. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Maybe I'm rambling a little bit. Sorry about that. Just getting the groundwork in now. And then once that is complete, we can begin the serious business of actually carving and printing the first layer, which will just be the colour for this one. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.